Just a couple of days ago, Nvidia released a new update to their Nvidia app along with their GPU driver, which allows you to override the DLSS version that's currently in Escape from Tarkov, along with a bunch of other titles. What this means is you can get way better image quality through this new transformer model than the current CNN model that we have in the game right now, while also getting a slight performance uplift, especially if you're GPU bottlenecked. If you didn't know, DLSS, or Deep Learning Super Sampling, is a technology from Nvidia that's available within Escape from Tarkov. It runs the game at a lower than native resolution, and then upscales it to look as close as it can to be your monitor's native resolution. This can improve your performance when you are GPU bottlenecked, meaning when your GPU is at 100% usage, while also potentially making the game look more stable as in comparison to some of the other anti-aliasing options that we have in Tarkov right now. In my opinion, with DLSS quality right now, granted I'm at 1440p, so the base resolution is 960p, that upscaling looks a lot more stable than anything else we have in the game right now. Through hopefully as concise of a video as I can make it, I apologize to editor me who's going to look at the timestamp and, disprove that claim. But still, I'll try to make this as concise as possible for you guys, for you to get a better grasp on what this does, the benefits, the downsides, and also some caveats with it. So let's get into it. Actually, before we get into it, just really quickly, firstly, if you have any issues with getting this set up properly, make sure you join my Discord, which is the first link in the YouTube description. You can join the 2,700 people in there and get some help from very educated people about your current issue, or you can always ask me live. I stream on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. CST and on Sundays at 1:30 p.m. CST. Feel free to ask me anywhere, and I'll try to help out where I can, but of course, there's also other amazing people, especially in my Discord, who can help out too. The second part of my plugs before the video gets started is not necessarily a good one. I was originally going to record this video yesterday, but unfortunately right before I was going to record, somebody in my Discord alerted me to the fact that some of the Discord moderation team for the Escape from Tarkov official Discord was warning against using this new DLSS Override feature. Specifically, one of their Discord mods, who was meeting people over this, said to not inject it as it breaks the terms of service for Tarkov. AppLaser is still on the fence about it as he hasn't been able to talk to the dev team yet. This is fair. I mean, it released on a Friday, so I'm sure they obviously don't have, all the information about it. And I'm assuming they're probably thinking about it like the other DLSS tweaks, if you were around the community for that, and are just flat out refusing it. This is kind of unfortunate for them though, as according to Nvidia's official website, who lists specifically that these games are whitelisted on a per game basis, Escape from Tarkov is whitelisted. If you go to this link, which I'll put in the description, which is officially from Nvidia, and just Control F search for Tarkov, you will clearly see that it is in the supported list for the super resolution DLSS override. This NVT checkmark denotes that native built-in support for these features can be upgraded to use a newer, even better AI model via an Nvidia app override. It literally states the support in plain text right here on their website. And again, this is whitelisted for only certain games. So it's not whitelisted for every single game right now. There had to have been some sort of communication error, or, simply the people who are talking about it right now did not make the choice to do this or something like that. I have no idea about the details, and I don't have insides with the BSG team, so I can't tell you. Because of their responses, I have to add the caveat that this could get you punished by BSG for running this. I, however, also have to add the caveat that I will be running this publicly, and I will make sure that it's known by having the DLSS version listed in the bottom left-hand corner of my streams. This should not be an issue. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep running it until they strike me down. I don't think it really is an issue, and I think that this is simply just a lack of communication and just a gut reaction from previous issues they've had from people replacing DLSS files manually. This is an officially supported Nvidia feature, and if they were to go against this feature, as far as I understand, they are the first developer in the list of supported developers who would actually be going against it. So I don't know what the details are here, but again, I had to add that caveat at the beginning of this video. Sorry for taking up a lot of your time, but I just wanted to at least give some of the context. You can look up these messages if you'd like in the official BSG Discord all chat if you would like to get some more of the context behind them. I'm sure we'll get some more updates soon from the team if this, spirals to be a bigger issue. Let's get away from this though and keep talking about the app. Before you try to go and use DLSS Override for Tarkov, you're going to want to make sure that your drivers are fully updated. They should be at least version 572.16 for the supported cards. This is for any card with RTX branding, so if you have anything from a 2060 to a 5090, this should be supported for you. Also, some users were having significant issues with attempting to add Escape from Tarkov into the override. It would simply gray out as unsupported, or they would have several instances of Escape from Tarkov added to this list. If you're having that issue, a common troubleshooting technique would just be completely wiping your drivers and then reinstalling everything. I would use DDU for that, and then just freshly reinstalling your drivers. That should fix the issue, as it's helped a couple people I've gotten that question from recently. If you continue not to be able to change this, make sure you choose the correct Escape from Tarkov and not Escape from Tarkov Arena, or the second Escape from Tarkov that may still be present. As far as I understand, for people who are having this issue, only one of these Escape from Tarkov VXCs will allow you to actually change the DLSS override. Once you have it working though and are able to change this setting, go ahead and go there. To navigate to the screen, hit the Graphics tab right here, and then in the Graphics tab, you're going to Jesus, okay, that's for Twitter. You're going to want to find the Escape from Tarkov app, and then go to DLSS Override Model Preset. In here, you're going to want to click on this edit button right here, and then select Use Different Settings for each DLSS technology. The only reason why I recommend this is because for the super resolution section, you can change different presets. So you can use some of these other presets instead of just being able to use the latest, which is preset K. These presets basically determine how DLSS handles different games and different content. I'll include a description of each in the description below. The only new ones that are for the new transformer model that DLSS has upgraded to are preset J and the latest. From what I've heard, even though it's only been out for a couple days, people are saying that preset J seems to be a little bit sharper, but also lacks a significant amount of image stability as a result. So for most of you, I would say that the latest preset, which is preset K, should be the one that you should run. From there, once it's set to latest, you can apply, as we don't have frame generation or ray reconstruction natively supported for Escape from Tarkov. You might also notice that the super resolution tab is unsupported, and this would allow for something like a DLAA or deep learning anti-aliasing to be used within Tarkov. If you didn't know what that was, it basically allows you to use DLSS's image stability enhancements, but at native resolution instead. I would absolutely adore this, but for now it is not supported, and this is something that VSG is going to have to try to add themselves if we were ever to actually get this in the game. Once this is set, you should be all good. If you want to make sure that this is applying properly in game, there's a registry tweak that you can apply to have the DLSS version display in the bottom left corner when you get into a raid or when you go into the hideout. To do that, you can just hit Windows key and R. Oh my god, I just launched Discord. To do that, you can hit Windows key and R, and then you can type in regedit. You can also just search for the registry editor in the search bar. Once you open the registry editor, you're going to want to go to this file path, which I'll have down below for you to copy paste. If this doesn't show up for you, you may have to click on the folder in the folder browser right here. You should be able to see a value called Show DLSS Indicator. For this value, you're going to want to double click into it and then edit the value. Set it to decimal as 1024 and then hit OK. This will allow you to see that DLSS version in the bottom left. If you want to set it back, just set it back to the default value, which I totally didn't forget, and it's totally not listed on your screen because I forgot what that initial value was. Listen, it's been a long day. I'm re-recording this, all right? Once this is done, you'll be able to relaunch the game with the new DLSS version. Let's go ahead and do that. I will note though, as I go ahead and do this, that the new DLSS model will have some sort of adverse effect on the performance of the upscaler. For those of you on more higher end modern cards like the 40 and 50 series, the performance impact from the old CNN model to the new transformer model should not be anything that really matters, especially if we're running in CPU bound scenarios. If you're GPU bottlenecked and getting more performance from it, then odds are you'd see anything from a 1 to 5% decrease in the performance you'd get from running DLSS in comparison to native when you're GPU bound. For the 20 and 30 series, your performance impact from the old model to the new model, in terms of while using the upscaling, may be a bit more noticeable. However, the image quality gain that you will see from it, in my opinion, far outweighs the downside to your performance when GPU bottleneck. And also, you know, in Tarkov's case, most of the time when people are complaining about their performance, they're CPU bottlenecked. So odds are this isn't going to matter much for you. Okay, so now we're on factory, and we're currently using the new DLSS. I'll walk towards where I originally benchmarked this in the meantime while I'm talking about this, but just know that your experience with DLSS from here on out will differ based on your internal resolution, or your base resolution, I should say. My base resolution is on 1440p. I'm on a 1440p display. However, for you guys, you might be on a 1080p display, you might be on ultra-wide 1440p, or you might be on 4K. So your mileage may vary on not only if this affects your performance, but also on your image quality, based on what preset you choose. For most of you, you're going to have 3 different options available: quality, balanced, and performance. For 1080p users, you should only see quality and balanced, and these 2 should be grayed out. And for 4K users, you'll see all 4. 1440p users should see the exact same thing I see here. Quality is 66.7% of your monitor's native resolution. Balanced is 58%. And performance is 50%. Ultra performance, if you are able to run it, is 33%. Just for the sake of showing some of the issues that will be solved when using this new DLSS model, let me just go back to using simply TAA high. What I want to show you right off the bat when I'm just sitting here is the stability of the image. I'm going to go over to this doorway, as this is one of the first places where I was able to tell the difference in image stability. In here, I want you to take a quick look at this grate through this door. This is the easiest place where I was able to see it, but the places are frankly endless. You'll see as I walk through this door that there's a ton of fizzling on that grate as I walk towards it. That is aliasing. A prime example of it. If I switch to anti-aliasing off, that does not fix the issue either, and makes it way worse, on more objects as well. However, DLSS's new transformer model helps to deal with that, along with the railing, or the Picatinny rail on my RSH revolver. You see that there's a ton of flickering on most of the objects, and this is completely, well, not completely, but 90% resolved using the new DLSS. So I'm going to go in here and simply set to quality, which again, since I'm at 1440p, is actually set to 960p, and it's upscaling to 1440p. When I set that, you'll see that that pop-up came up in the bottom left because of that registry edit that I made. You can see that I'm upscaling from 960p to 1440p, and then I'm using the render preset K from DLSS version 3, 10.2.1. Right off the bat, you should see there's a complete reduction in shimmering. The image is a lot more stable as I'm just sitting here, especially on the Picatinny rail of my RSH revolver. Walking towards the railing, you will see a little bit of shimmering, but the difference is night and day from what you saw before. This big reduction in shimmering on a lot of objects is why I love this DLSS model so much. It really does a good job at stabilizing the image, and Tarkov has had a problem with this for a very, very long time. Of course, it's not perfect, as again, this is running at 66.7% of your native res, so it still doesn't even have as much information as native TAA high does. Even still, running native TAA high, it still does not have the same stability, and there is still shimmering even when just looking around this image. Here again, on the outside of factory, the things that I want to point out here are, for example, the rails on that smokestack up there, along with this antenna that's floating for some reason. Wait, what the hell? Anyway, don't pay attention to that. But you can see here that some of the details on the smokestack's little metal fencing, and also on the antennas, the antennas, but you can see that those aren't properly reconstructed when using TAA high. Switching to DLSS quality completely reconstructs those perfectly. Now in motion they do fizzle a little bit. I will be, I'll admit that. But the ability to reconstruct those things better than the anti-aliasing solutions that we have in game right now at a lower resolution gives me hope that with some time, BSG can correct the implementation in Tarkov and add a recent implementation that includes something like DLAA, as that would help tremendously with the presentation of the game we have right now. Here I got just one more showcase of this flickering in action. So you can see this metal walkway is just sizzling basically, even while I'm just standing still. It also gets even worse the more that I move. DLSS on quality completely resolves the sizzling when standing still, and in motion, it gets rid of it most of the time. It still has occasional issues in resolving it, which can cause it to occasionally flicker, but overall the sizzling has vastly reduced in comparison to what it was before. This increased stability is why I am going to be using this from now on. The constant flickering of objects in a distance and railings made playing kind of distracting when you had all these artifacts that were constantly shimmering in the background. Having DLSS as a way to eliminate a lot of that shimmering is beautiful, and I really hope that BSG takes this as a stepping stone to implementing better native support for this, along with DLAA and maybe even native FSR for those of you who are on AMD. Having that image stability improvement is quintessential to making this game look better. I do also want to list some of its quick downsides as well. For starters, even though this overall has a worse reconstruction with TAA high at 1440p, going to DLSS on quality does help with the reconstruction. You can see the spikes on the construction site. Yeah, that's what that is. Much better, along with the crane as well. But when you start to move, there is a significant amount of ghosting that you can see if I zoom in here when moving side to side. Whereas, of course, you don't see as much of this detail when you just go to aliasing on TA high, but the ghosting is reduced. There is still flickering, however, so I guess both are kind of mid, but I don't know. You could choose whatever is best for you based on your resolution and which preset you're going for. Also, I'd like to note that though I believe the shrubbery looks superior with DLSS on quality in comparison to TAA, there is still some smearing that happens with the shrubbery. It's definitely not perfect. You can see on the left here, it's still a little bit blurry to see what's behind the bush there. It's definitely not perfect, though again, I believe it's a step up from what you'd see with something like native with TAA high. Also, as a quick placement here, here's another place where I think DLSS quality really helps with the scene. You can see these bars over here on the top of the roof are just shimmering like crazy, and the wires are kind of disjointed, especially at a distance. Switching to DLSS on quality, those bars have stopped shimmering basically entirely. There's still a little bit of ghosting on them, and the wires, even at a distance, are still composed and more solid than they were at TAA high. Finally, glass on the ground actually renders at that base resolution and is not upscaled properly. This also happens with windows that are broken. You can see right here that these shards of glass on the ground look a little bit pixelated and blurry than, for example, if I just get this still here and then switch over to TAA high, it is a lot clearer. So this might slightly disturb you. It can be kind of annoying if there's a lot of it on the ground at the distance, because it can kind of just turn into like Minecraft blocks at a distance, and I'll see if I can showcase that a little bit. You can see that it just kind of turns into a blur at a distance, so kind of a pain. I believe that this is a issue with Unity transparency effects interacting with the upscaling solution, and the same thing happened with FSR as well, if I remember correctly. Let me just turn that on and take a look. Yeah, see, same thing. So it's a bug with all the upscalers in the game right now, not just DLSS. And I believe it has something to do with Unity's transparency effects, but I'm not too sure. I'll probably submit this as a bug report soon. Also, really quickly as well, there are some issues with the inventory getting kind of blurry for the first couple frames that you open it with this new DLSS Override option. It's not game breaking and it doesn't stay blurry at all, so you don't have to worry about it bugging out or anything, but that's something to note too if you ever notice that. It can be a significant confusion for you if you open your inventory and all of a sudden it's a little bit blurry for a second. That's what that's from. But yeah, that's everything that I've been able to notice so far with the new DLSS setting. I hope that this has helped you to make your decision on if you want to run it or not. And again, I guess we'll hear soon from BSG about if they actually support this or not. You know, I made my statement at the beginning, and you'll see me whenever I stream again, running this, probably next Friday. And I really hope they embrace this instead of trying to push it away, because this could really help people enjoy the game. And also, if people are really GPU bottlenecked, then this can help them get some more performance as well if they have the capable card. If you have any issues with the app and want to get some help trying to figure things out, make sure you join the Discord, of course. course. What am I? Whoa, what? Make sure you join the Discord. It's the first link in the description down below. If you need some help, there are a ton of awesome people in there who can help you out, and I'll be in there too. And make sure to check out my streams. I'll be here Friday, 6:30 p.m. CST, and Sunday at 1:30 p.m. CST. If this helped, hit the usual buttons down below, and thank you to watching to the end of the video, and thank you for your support. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and for now, this will be Clem. Clocking out. Later.